Okay guys, I just got out of surgery. I got this big fat bandage on my forehead. It's about ready to ooze and spring a leak, but we love transmissions so much, we're gonna bring this video to you to help you identify what the heck you have in your truck. Over here, I have a 48 RE transmission. This is the most popular transmission. Everybody's like, I got a 48, swap my truck. Well, what is a 48 RE? They're a 2003 through 2007 Dodge Cummins automatic transmission. They're based off of some older models like this 47RH. In between there's a 47RE. So today we're just going to tell you a little bit about the differences on these so you can identify them. Maybe you're in a junkyard picking and you want to be able to figure it out. Maybe you've got one and you want to know what the heck you have on your truck. Here's a quick way to tell. Let's start with this 47RH here, Dustin. The main identifier, I think, is this plug. We'll come in here. There's a 3-pin oval-shaped plug. It's round where it goes through the case. It's oval-shaped at the top. It comes through the case. It's a little smaller. So if you put a 47RH plug in a 48RE case, it would be loose and flopping around. The 48RE, it has a round 8-pin plug. What's confusing is this is the exact same plug, and the harness looks the same from the outside as a 47RE. So the really main thing you're going to tell between the two plugs here is 48RE or 47RE, 8-pin round plug. 47RH has to have 3 pins. If it has 2 pins, it'll fit in the case, but that is a non-lockup. That's like a 93 and earlier tranny, and although they work, that's not what you want. Most people want lockup. Another thing on the 47RH, they have this 3-pin neutral safety switch. Some people call this the short switch. It's metal, threads into the case. This same switch is also used on 47REs, and then in 1998 they switched to a newer style of this plug that's kind of an oval shape 3-pin. This comes sideways out of the case at an angle. It doesn't come vertical like the harness, so don't see this 3-pin oval, think you have a 47RH. We'll talk more about the tail housings, other little giveaways, but that's that. 48RE has this ginormous park neutral safety indicator. Has this big 5-pin connector. They're held on by 2 T25 torque screws, and they bolt on. They're quite identifiable when they're bolted on the case. So that kind of goes over the little neutral safety thing. But let's talk a little bit.
Let's make sure that on these too, sometimes you have a 47RE transmission with the 48RE style neutral indicator.
Yeah, you're right.
That's
90, what year is that?
03.
03. So 2003, yeah, you're right. 2003, if you have a standard output, not the highest output 03 like the California model, they had some leftover 47REs, and Chrysler decided to put a 48RE
style neutral indicator. So if you're looking at this and saying, I have a 48RE and it's a 2003, you can't say, oh, it's a 48RE for sure, because you have to identify the internals, and we'll show you that a little bit later.
So these work on the RH. So this would be 94, 95. It also is the REs all the way up to 97. In 98, they did some little interior changes. They added quad doors and stuff. They went to a little different wiring harness, and that's when they went to this indicator. This goes 98 through 2002. This is still a 47RE. So if you see this indicator, that's a dead giveaway. It's a 98 through 2002 47RE.
Then 03 to 07.5.
03 to 07.5. Let's go over here a little bit more about 48REs. Maybe Dustin could tell us a little bit. You've got these two bosses here.
Yep.
They'll start at what, 2005?
05, 06, 07.5. This is for a TTVA motor rather than a standard TV cable like all the previous generations.
So every transmission has a throttle cable that goes in the transmission that kicks it down and allows it to shift. When they got in 2005, they're like, let's get smart, let's let the computer control that and not run an actual throttle cable from under the hood down to the transmission. So if you have an 05, 06, 07, you need this style case if you're working on a truck. If you have a donor truck and you're swapping, you don't care if it has this. This doesn't matter. You can do one without the little cast bosses. It doesn't hurt you. So that's that later style 48RE. The earlier ones look the same neutral safety, but they don't have these cast bosses. One other thing you should be aware of, 48REs, they went to a shift cable rather than a mechanical linkage like they used on the 47 REs and 47 RHs. And they've added a threaded boss here. This case does not have a threaded boss here, you can see. So see, threaded boss, no threaded boss. Kind of another little giveaway. One other last little thing we've noticed, every RH we've ever seen has 238-2 cast right on the bell housing. If it's got a -1, usually it's a 47 RE. It gets into the -3, -6, and those other ones. There's a bunch of variations of 48 REs. If it doesn't say 238, it could be a gas or tranny that doesn't even have the right bell housing to work on your Cummins. So don't buy that one. If you're unsure, you know, call us and we can help you. But hopefully after watching this video, you'll be an expert and you'll be able to identify what's in the junkyard. What do you want to talk about now? Tail housings?
Yeah, we could do tail housings. We did the switches, the plugs.
Okay, let's get these out of the way.
Tail housings.
Hard cut. Okay, we've got the tail housings up here. It was like magic. 47 RE, 48 RE tail housing. From the outside,
Four-wheel drive.
four-wheel
Talking
drive.
over you.
They look nearly identical. There's some little differences on cast bosses, but for the most part, from you as a beginner guy identifying them, they just pretend like they look identical. They're the same dimensions and everything. When you get inside, the 48 RE has a little bit bigger parking pawl, which is reverse compatible both ways. You just have to have the right parking rod, right?
Yeah, the rod and the catch are two separate pieces. So if you get a 48 and you end up needing to swap out your tail housing, you can put a 47 on there as long as you either swap out the catch or the rod.
But most guys don't want to mess with the catch. They just put a rod.
Yeah.
So a lot of guys, if they 48s break a lot of tail housings. They're really notorious for breaking. So all those guys, 47 tail housings are cheaper. They'll put a 47. Just get that parking rod. It fits right on the valve body. Works perfect.
Since you're tearing it apart anyways, you might as well just swap it out. So
Okay, what's this one?
this is an RH four-wheel drive tail housing. Obviously,
So what year?
94, 95.
So all the others are this, 94, 95. So if you get one with this long tail housing, you have one of the most sought after junkyard cores, 47 RH four-wheel drive.
Especially for conversions. Everybody's out there wanting to do conversions, and that's because it has a hydraulic governor. And the reason this is longer is because that assembly is actually on the output shaft. When they went to the electronic governor assembly, obviously they didn't need all the space for the weights and everything that's attached in there. So that's the indicator for an RH, is mostly the length. It'll tell you right off the bat.
Now, if you're building a 1,000+ horsepower race truck, usually they don't want this because there are not fat shafts available in the RH. In the RE, there are fat shafts. And when you get up around 1,000 horsepower, if you're building a serious race truck, that's where you start breaking output shafts. What are you building your truck with?
Well, it started Dewey. Yeah, we got to get back up on that one. But it's an RH in there, and I wasn't going to be doing the drive shafts anytime soon. So I think the new truck's going to be an RE, just so we can go fat.
Okay, let's talk about these two-wheel drive tail housings now.
All right.
This is a 48 RE two-wheel drive tail housing. The two big giveaways. One, it has a big seal. 48 REs have a bigger slip yoke than the 47 RE or the 47 RH. So the slip yoke's bigger, it's got a bigger seal. It's very obvious if you look in the video how fat that is, and this gets a little skinnier. The shaft inside is actually the same. So if you have this and you have a 47 RE and you need tail housing, you can use this, but you got to come up with that fat slip yoke. But other than that, the only other little identifier, there is a speed sensor right here. This is on 48 REs and 47 REs. What about the RH?
No speed sensor.
There's a cast boss, but it's not drilled and tapped. So, you know, if you're looking on an eBay ad or looking close to the junkyard and there's grease, you got to make sure it's not threaded there. But that is a 47 RH two-wheel drive. What else can you tell us about these 47 RE and 47 RH tail housings that's different than this one?
So these earlier models have a gear-driven speedometer pickup. I'm pointing in the wrong area, but right here, obviously these two have two big old holes here. Here over the 48 RE, they eliminated that. And the reason for that is they started running the speedometer pickup in the rear diff rather than in the transmission.
And that's what, 1998 usually when that happened. So if you get a two-wheel drive housing that doesn't have this, that means it's a 98 or newer. And if it's fat, it's an 03 or newer. If it has the speedometer gear and it has the electronic sensor, that's like kind of a rare bird. That's a 96 and 97.
96, 97, that's right.
Just 2 years for that combination.
They stuck 2 circuits together in the later years, so they were able to eliminate one more cost.
No, don't get thrown off. This doesn't have a seal and this does. Sometimes they have a seal that's tall, sometimes they have a low seal. They're the same, so that doesn't matter. But that gets you basically a rundown on the tail housings to identify them.
Yeah.
So really quick, while we're here, let's just talk. So if you're doing a conversion, just really quick, why do you want an RH?
Well, an RH for conversion, you don't have to have a computer to control your 1, 2, 3 shift. If you want an automatic shifting transmission for your 1, 2, 3, you don't need a computer. All these guys like to do conversions. They don't want to spend the money on $1,000 or $2,000 controller. So
they put it in drive. It shifts 1, 2, 3 on its own.
Yep.
Lockup and overdrive are still electrically commanded. The same with those. So lockup and overdrive is electrically commanded regardless of the year. But it's just a simple 12-volt circuit, so it's really easy to replicate on a conversion. You get in an RE, 48 or 47, the computer controls the 1, 2, 3 shift. If you don't put power in, what gear are they in when you put them in drive?
Third.
They're in third gear.
Limp mode.
Limp mode, basically. Get you home. Now, you can manually shift an RE, and usually you can go down to second gear, but you can't get down to first gear if you were already in third or second. It hydraulically won't let it go. Now, so guys using these, they're building kind of a hot rod, what type of valve body do you build for them?
Full manual.
So if you do a full manual valve body, great, you can use this. Now, keep in mind, this is the exact same for the four-wheel drive as well. We just don't have those up here on the display. But the four-wheel drive is the exact same thing. RH, hydraulic, REs, 47 or 48, they are computer controlled.
Yeah.
Okay, one last little identifier that's a dead giveaway.
External identifier.
External identifier.
For the 47 versus 48, we talked a little bit about the 2003, how you can get a mix with the 48 style neutral indicator, but still have a 47. You can start with the pump. If you look right up on the front, right by the vent, where are we at? Right here, here's a vent. This is a 47 style pump body. I can see that because there's not an extra tang here. If you see how this one has a larger surface.
It's like a machined flat right there.
Yeah.
That's a 47 pump body.
48.
48 pump body.
Has the
that
tang.
has the tang. 47 does not.
Correct.
The other thing a lot of people look at that if it's stock and hasn't been messed with is correct, but they get messed with a lot in the aftermarket and by rebuilders, so it's not the dead giveaway. There is an extra seal on a 48. This part is called the stator support, and there is a seal right here on the 48. The 47 does not have a seal right here. However, in the aftermarket, a lot of these 48 pumps are more expensive. They're harder to come by. A lot of pump rebuild specialist companies will take a 47, they will cut a groove on a 47 pump and slap a 48 seal right there. And to the unsuspecting eye, they think that's a 48 RE, but really that's a seal. Generally in the aftermarket though, if they're putting that seal on there, it's because they put a 47 pump in a 48. Usually they don't put that seal on a 47. The converter's technically not set up to seal with that seal. It doesn't hurt anything, but it doesn't engage on anything, so it's not
you
used.
don't want that seal. Yeah. We can get into torque converters later and help you identify that portion of it because there is a difference between 47 and 48 converters. So,
but there is some cross compatibility, kind of some interesting stuff on that, but we'll go that in a later video. But for the most part, if you see that and you see this style pump, this is a 48, this is a 47. One other little indicator that we know just because, you've built hundreds of transmissions now. Tell me a little bit about the tip of the input shaft.
you can see that the hole that is drilled here during machining, you can see the 48 has a slight angle and it looks a little bit larger. And on the 47 style, they're smaller. Whether it's small, it's not actually smaller, it's just the taper is machined a little bit different.
It's a little taper. There's a little more taper counterbore on the 48 where there is on the 47. We haven't noticed any strength difference in the shaft, but usually we don't see a 47 shaft in a 48 pump. That most rebuilders, when they rebuild these like for stock applications, they don't play musical shafts.
Yes.
Stays with the tranny. So that's another little thing. It's kind of hard to tell in pictures and stuff, but 48 input shaft, 47, they're reverse compatible. And
You want to go billet anyways. So.
yeah, let's be honest. You don't want a stock shaft. They're junk. We have hundreds of them. In fact, if you want a stock shaft, call us up. You pay the shipping, and we'll give you lots of stock shafts. If you're new here, like, subscribe, follow our channel, and follow along in this new series. We're going to tell you all about transmissions so that you can pick the right junkyard tranny to build for your hot rod, or you can order the right rebuild kit from us so that you know exactly what you have on your truck. And hopefully we can get you some troubleshooting stuff, common problems we see on these things, so that you can become a transmission expert of sorts at home.
Who doesn't want to know what's in their own truck?
Yeah, I mean, everybody calls it the magic slush box. It's not the magic slush box. It's mechanical parts, and there's an explanation for why they do things. And follow along, and hopefully we can get you a better understanding of how your Dodge diesel automatic transmission works.
Yep.
Thanks.